Welcome back to The Explainer, proudly brought to you by Forge College. Today, we're diving straight into the deep end of Web3 frontends. If you're following along in our Solana ecosystem track, you know we're building the engineering blueprint to connect a backend to a totally seamless, snappy user interface. Specifically, we're tackling front-end integration and ownership queries for compressed NFTs.
Okay, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, building the front-end bridge. Second, fetching ownership data. Third, normalizing the index. Fourth, taming the notorious index lag. And finally, testing and validation. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The front-end bridge, connecting minting to viewing. So, in our previous module, we laid this incredibly solid foundation by implementing user roles and access controls. Well, now, it's time to actually build the bridge so users can see the compressed NFTs they've so carefully minted. Because think about it, here is the missing link. All those batch receipts, transaction IDs, and Merkle leaves sitting securely in your repo, yeah, they're fantastic technical achievements, but they literally mean absolutely nothing to your end user until we wire up a robust React front end. We have to translate those raw on-chain pipelines into a beautiful, human-readable screen showing collection thumbnails and owner badges. Without this bridge, your highly optimized, compressed NFTs are practically invisible to the people who actually own them. It's like building a masterpiece and locking it in a dark room. Moving on to Section 2, fetching ownership data, querying the DAS, or indexing API. So how do we do this? We can use a streamlined AI-assisted workflow to quickly build out this pipeline. It's basically 4 steps. We start by scaffolding a fetch ownership helper in TypeScript. Next up, we integrate a use ownership React hook to manage our state and meticulously batch our requests. Then we test network latency. And finally, we iterate on error handling. Scaffolding this out rapidly saves us a massive amount of time. And that lets us focus on the actual architecture, like setting up retry logic with exponential backoff. Because let's be real here for a second, your front end shouldn't just dramatically give up and crash the moment a single network packet drops, right? All right, Section 3. Normalizing the index, creating a single source of truth. Standardizing this data is absolutely crucial for our bridge's structural integrity. Now, check out the difference in these data shapes. A typical raw indexer response might throw a messy mix of snake underscore case fields or just wildly deeply nested objects right at you. Honestly, it's a developer headache just waiting to happen. But if we force everything into a predictable, normalized shape, like strict camel case, we prevent massive code duplication across the whole application. Translating the raw response into this exact normalized shape makes caching, batching, and retries significantly easier. Why? Because your front-end components always know exactly what data structure to expect, regardless of which external indexing API happens to be serving it that day. Section 4. Taming the index lag, handling eventual consistency. As you take more advanced Web3 courses with us at Forge College, you'll start to realize something. Blockchain transaction speed is truly amazing, but it brings us to a very tricky UX challenge: eventual consistency. Basically, this is the inevitable delay between a transaction being verified on-chain and that state actually updating in the off-chain indexing API. Think of it exactly like buying a package online. You immediately get the receipt from the merchant, right? That's our minting verification log. But when you instantly click the courier's tracking number, the indexer hasn't caught up yet, and the tracking page stubbornly says not found. The package is yours, it's paid for, it's totally real, but the display system is just lagging behind reality. And if we don't handle this inevitable lag, well, we get this wonderful panic-stricken response from users. Where's my NFT? I just minted it. Did I lose my money? Yeah, that is the chaotic sound of an unhandled UI state, usually followed by frantic F5 page spamming. To spare your users from this terrifying panic, we absolutely must explicitly design a visual index lag state. No lazy loading a generic error, no leaving a broken, missing image icon on the screen. We have to do better. So, to handle that lag, we compare 2 distinct states. On one side, we have our verification log. This is our immediate, authoritative truth generated the exact millisecond after minting. On the other side, we have the indexer state, the delayed truth. By keeping these separate and comparing them, our user interface knows exactly when to tell the user, hey, we have your asset securely on-chain, we are just waiting for the display to catch up. This simple, thoughtful comparison turns a panic-inducing error into a smooth, reassuring user experience. It is a complete game changer for Web3 front ends, for sure. Section 5. Testing and validation. Stress testing the bridge. Now that our architecture and error states are mapped out beautifully, it's time to put it to the test. You have to ensure your front end doesn't just fall apart at the first sign of trouble. So we validate a few key edge cases. What happens during partial failures in batch calls? Or what if the API hands you a completely malformed JSON response? How about those annoying CORS issues or a sudden mobile network drop? And hey, is your cache invalidating properly on a manual refresh? The crucial takeaway here is that a single malformed response or a partial network failure should never, ever crash your entire React collection grid. Instead, it should elegantly display per item error states, letting the rest of the perfectly healthy grid load exactly as intended. Finally, we gotta talk about speed. For this capstone module to pass our stringent performance checks, your testing harness needs to prove a median request latency of under 500 milliseconds. We measure this to maintain snappy, interactive responsiveness for the user. Honestly, if your latency is creeping up past that half-second mark, it's time to closely examine your batching endpoints and dial in your in-memory cache TTLs, your time-to-live limits, to speed things back up. So, your front-end bridge is stable and snappy for a single user, but how will it perform when thousands attempt to cross it all at the exact same time? That is the real challenge of production-scale applications. Thank you so much for joining me today for this capstone explainer. Make sure to head over to forge.college to learn more about this subject, explore our comprehensive course on compressed NFTs and advanced digital assets, and prep for our next deep dive where we'll tackle scaling, state compression, and optimizing costs for massive production-level traffic. Until then, keep building.